for Schindler. Has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello listeners, happy Christmas Eve. It's Brady from the warm-up here, and obviously we've done a big festive preview looking at the three matches at Bristol, where we came out 3-2 winners. None of us predicted a good result there, but as you normally know, we have fan chats for any of the warm-up previews, so fingers crossed we're still going to have some of these. So we managed to get this one ahead of the big Boxing Day fixture against Blackpool. So I spoke to Joe from the Seasiders Podcast ahead of the match, and here's what he had to say. But just before we do, thanks to everyone who's listened to us over the past year, for all the warm-up shows. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas quiz. I know some of you had a couple of issues with the questions. I will do better next year. But anyway, here's the chat with Joe. Merry Christmas to you all, and a Happy New Year. Hi Joe, thanks for joining me. So my first question, same one I asked to all our guests on here, is how have you viewed Blackpool's season so far? Is it what you expected?
To be honest, I think if you ask most Blackpool fans before a ball was kicked what they were expecting from this season, I think most would have been happy just to stay in the Championship, with it being our first season back in a few years. Our promotion last season was slightly unexpected, given that we got off to a relatively poor start. It was our second half of the season where I think we went on a 20-game run where we only lost 2 games, and that's what really propelled us into the playoffs and the promotion picture. We gathered a huge amount of momentum. But yeah, if you'd offered most Blackpool fans at this stage of the season 30 points, halfway in the table, victories over local rivals Preston North End and Blackburn Rovers, I think most Blackpool fans would be absolutely delighted with how we've started, yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the job Neil Critchley's done with Blackpool? You must be happy with mid-table halfway through the season.
Neil Critchley's done an incredible job in a very short period of time. Nobody really expected us to go on the run that we did towards the end of last season. It's his first job in professional football, coming from Liverpool's under-23s. And yeah, he's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Promotion in his first real season, because when he took over, he had 2 games in charge, a draw away at Fleetwood and a loss at home to Tranmere Rovers, and then COVID hit. So really, it's a promotion in his first season, which is incredible, really, coming from youth team football. He's done a great job. I think the majority of Blackpool fans are absolutely delighted that he's here. He's just signed a new 4.5-year deal, which is massive to us, because I can see him going on to manage a big Premier League team in the future. So if and when he eventually gets picked up, he'll probably go for a fair bit of compensation. You never really know what you're going to get with his selections. He's always surprising fans with his team selections, and more often than not, we're all there scratching our heads thinking, what's he doing here? Why has he dropped player X for player Y? And, 8-9 times out of 10, every credit to him, he usually gets it spot on. So, yeah, Neil Critchley is really a huge reason of why Blackpool are doing so well in recent times.
And what can we expect from this Blackpool team on the pitch?
What can you expect from this Blackpool team? That's a very good question, because most times Blackpool fans don't know whether that be what type of performance we're going to get, whether it's going to be a good one or a bad one, or what type of formation we're going to get. It's no secret, in October we had a fantastic run, winning 5 out of 6 games. And then from the end of October, after we won away at Sheffield United, we went on a 7-game winless run. And that's not to say in them 7 games that we were terrible. We were robbed of a win against QPR with a very poor linesman decision. The ball had already crossed the line when Medini was offside, touched the ball. Against Stoke City, we were more than in the game, and Stephen Fletcher got caught by an official kicking one of our players off the ball. Only got a yellow when he should have been sent off, and of course he went on to score the winner. 2 credible draws away against Swansea and at home against West Brom. It's only really in them last 3 games away at Birmingham where we were lost 1-0, at home against Luton in wretched conditions where we lost 3-0, and away at Derby, which was probably our poorest performance of the season, where we lost 1-0 to a very youthful but determined Derby team. Yeah, we deserve to be where we are in the table. We're a mid-table championship team, which, again, I think most Blackpool fans would have took for a ball was kicked at the start of the season. Formation-wise, he mixes it up. He always sets up against how to counteract the opposition. He's still a manager that will play 4-4-2 when need be. We played that against Peterborough. It was 1-1. He switched it up with a couple of substitutes, made it 4-2-3-1, ended up winning the game 3-1. He's a manager not afraid to drop any player if they're out of form. We like to press. We tend to press from the front. We've got players like Jerry Yates and Shane Laverley who are very good at pressing, very energetic forwards. We like to pass it along the back. We like to build up from the back. Some fans not really a fan of that because we do tend to make about 10 or 15 sideways passes before passing it back to the keeper and then getting it forward, where sometimes you just want a little through ball or a big hoof up front to the big man. And yeah, it depends on who we're playing, on how we set up. But we're a team that likes to pass it about, that's for certain.
Are there any players we need to keep an eye out for on Saturday?
Couple of Blackpool players to look out for. Keshi Anderson, number 10. I think he's really stepped up from last season in League One. He was a player that I wouldn't say questioning, but I was doubting that he could step up to the level needed in the Championship. Playing slightly out of position out on the wing, but he scored some really important goals. The opener against Preston North End at home. A really good winning goal away at Sheffield United. And he's also chipped in with some really important assists. A lot of our good play tends to come from Keshi Anderson. Also on his day, number 11, Josh Bowler, player that just glides past defenders, but his final ball, sometimes something to be desired. But if Josh Bowler is on it, then your wing backs might have a little bit of difficulty come Sunday.
And how are Blackpool fans feeling about this game?
I think Blackpool fans just want this game to be on, to be honest. We just sold out on the day that I'm recording this, on Wednesday. So the full allocation's been taken. We always take a good following wherever we go on Boxing Day. I don't think fans will be too bothered about how it went in the reverse fixture. I think there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then. Both of us are on the back of good 3-1 victories. So I can see it being a good game and the fans really being up for this one.
And what are you expecting from the game against Huddersfield?
It'll be a tough game. Huddersfield are a good team. I think both of us are probably performing above where most pundits would have us both. Both of us having brief flirtations with the playoffs before going on little bad patches, but it's a very tight league, and you're going to get that in the Championship. You're going to have teams having bad runs. I mean, you only have to look at Bournemouth and Fulham now and West Brom. Even the teams that were running away with things at the start of the season, they're starting to have little sticky periods. Clubs like ourselves who haven't got the millions to spend that a Bournemouth or a Fulham have, we're always going to be struggling. But I genuinely feel there's about 12 to 14 teams that have got an outside chance of the playoffs. And I think Huddersfield and Blackpool are both, although outside chances, still with half the season to go, you can't write any of us off. I mean, there's lots of football to be played. And yeah, I think the game on Boxing Day, if it goes ahead, touch wood, it'll be a very entertaining game. I think it'll be two teams going for the win. I don't think that we can really, you know, think too much about the game that happened earlier in the season. As far as that game goes, I thought that first half Blackpool were probably marginally the better team. Then Huddersfield scored an absolute wonder goal, absolutely great strike from the lad. And we had a really bad 15 minutes where you scored 3 goals. And I'm not saying that we deserved anything out of the game, but I thought 3-0 was slightly harsh on us that day. Hopefully, from our point of view, things will be slightly better on Boxing Day.
And finally, how do you see the game going, and what's your score prediction?
As far as the score prediction goes, again, it's very hard to predict Blackpool. On the day, we're capable of beating any team in this division. We were the first team to beat Fulham this season, 1-0 at Bloomfield Road. We were 2-0 behind at Bournemouth earlier on in the season and got a very creditable 2-2 draw. We've gone away to places like Sheffield United and won. We've been to Middlesbrough and won. We were 2-0 down against Reading and won 3-2. So, if nothing, there's a lot of fighting spirit in the Blackpool team. Huddersfield, you sit 10th, deservedly so. Like I say, I don't know whether your boys are going to underestimate us slightly from the game at Bloomfield Road. I'm hoping that'll be the case anyway. But as with any away game, I think if we can leave with a point, I'd be very happy. So my heart says it's going to be a 1-1 draw, but also feasibly, if we turn up like we did against Derby County, I can see comfortably winning 2 or 3-0.